It's Tuesday again. Sorry I don't come on at the same time every Tuesday, but it's my Tuesday live stream. So hope everyone's doing well. Today I wanted to talk about, or just give an update on the latest that's happened in my life. So last time I was really stressed out about holding on to just like the lie and having to have a really hard conversation with my mom that I've already been divorced, knowing that I essentially got married because my mom and my dad, and so it was making me feel like breaking the news to her would be really like difficult for her to handle and heartbreaking, and I just imagined she would be really upset that I hadn't told her and like I've been lying this whole time. So I was really, really scared to tell her. I was really stressed out. But ultimately, I did end up having the talk with her, and the conversation actually went really well. And the result was that I was able to finally be honest with her, and it helped deepen my relationship with her. I felt like I could finally just tell her the truth about anything, because now that I have told her that huge part of my life, like I've been hiding this huge part of my life from her for like a long time, for like almost feels like a year. Like I'd never revealed any of this to her, and I've never really opened up to my mom before. I just had a relationship where I always felt like I had to perform for her, and after needing to have that talk and really getting clear with like myself and healing parts of myself, like I went into that conversation knowing how I wanted, like the whole intention behind like even revealing this part, this piece of my life with her, like, and I wanted to share how I did that. Today I want to go through like how to have difficult conversations, how to bring up something that's really hard, but with the intention of deepening your connection with that person and to building intimacy and authentic connection with that person. So there's a quote that I wanted to share. I got it from a podcast. I think it was from a monk who said it. And the quote was, "The only way to be free is to be transparent." And that's a huge part of the whole premise of this group, the like healing and being true to yourself. Like being true to yourself, like the whole point of being true to yourself is so that you could be who you truly want to be, like who you know you are on the inside, and feel the most liberated and joyful to be, and being able to express that, like to be transparent. You like when you're really free, you're not holding anything back, you're not hiding anything. And when you feel like you have to hide, like it's just so restrictive, and like feeling like you have to hide is different than consciously choosing to hide. So today I want to help you like have some tools, some like tips, like a how-to on how to be able to live transparently and to have like difficult conversations with people that you want to deepen your connection to. So the first step is to first know your truth. To have a difficult conversation means you're going to tell them something about, like, you have something to bring up with them. And so you need to know what that thing is. It's like obvious stuff. So you have to know what you want to bring up, and you have to own it. So the first step is owning your truth. And let's define what your truth is. So your truth is anything that's regarding yourself. So however you feel, whatever, like the reason why you did something, what your intentions are, what you are choosing to do, what you're going to do, what the reason why you did something, anything regarding yourself. You're the one who defines who you are, like your value, like why you did what you did. Only you can know. No one else can tell you why you did something or like what you really are, what your value is. You have to be the one to know yourself and to own it, to truly embody it. And so how do you know what your truth is? So if your truth is anything that's regarding yourself, how do you know these things about yourself? Well, because no one else could know those things, it's your job to figure it out. Because no one else could tell you what those things are. You ask yourself. You need to be radically honest with yourself to know, okay, why am I this way? Why did I do what I did? How do I actually feel about this? Is this really what I want to do? Like, when it comes to matters of your own life, who you are, who you're choosing to be, only you get to decide what that is. And you have to make those choices for yourself. And you make those choices by being just really honest and knowing that you are a culmination of everything that came to pass before you. So your truth comes from just deciding what that is and being really objective in understanding yourself, and that you are not just like the results of your life and the circumstance of your life isn't 100% your fault, and it isn't 100% other people's fault either. It's not wise, like it's foolish to blame other people for the circumstance of your life, and at the same time it's also foolish to blame yourself 100% for everything that's gone on in your life. True wisdom comes from knowing that it's always both. Seeing the bigger picture, seeing yourself in this bigger picture of you did play a role in your life. You are responsible for your own actions and how you feel and what you ended up doing. But at the same time, you are a product of all the conditions, a product of your environment, of your upbringing, of everything that happened prior in time that brought you to this moment. So that is the bigger picture. That is where wisdom comes in knowing that you couldn't have done things differently because you didn't know differently. So that knowing helps you let go of all of the guilt, all of the blame for maybe some unfortunate circumstances of your life or some unfortunate results of your life. It's never just one thing. There's no spontaneous ideation. There's no spontaneous thing that happens in our lives. People don't do things spontaneously. Even though it might seem spontaneous, people are the way that they are, and we are the way that we are because of everything that has made us into who we are and everything that has brought us to this present moment. So that's how you really know yourself. Like, it's important to let go of the shame, let go of feeling that you fucked up, that you're completely responsible for everything that's happened to you, and that other people were completely to blame for what's happened to you. So yeah, it's always both. And when you can see that it's both, you don't have to feel that shame. You don't have to feel that guilt, that disappointment, that anger, that resentment. Even though all of those feelings are gonna happen, like you can't help but feel those things. Once you realize like all of the different components that went into why your life is the way that it is and how you ended up becoming the person that you are today, there will be a lot of grief that comes in realizing why why things are the way that they are, why you are the way that you are, why you feel the way that you feel. There are so many different components. It's never just one thing. So this is really, really important work in understanding yourself, in knowing what your truth is, knowing yourself at a full, deeper level of not just like blaming other people or just feeling like you just did it because you're just you, or that's just how you are, or just you're like a failure or something. Like it's never that simple. So it's always seeing yourself in this bigger picture. So this is a huge part of the work of being able to come clean with somebody, to have a deep, meaningful, like connection building conversation. Like you have to really, really get know yourself like for best results. Okay. So once you've done that work of knowing yourself, like understanding why you are the way that you are, and where like this thing that you want to bring up, like where the idea came from, like this topic that you want to bring up with this person, like you should have a clear reason why you want to bring this up with them. So knowing why you want to talk about it with them is really important, so that you could be clear in like how the conversation should go, how you want it to go. Because you could want to bring something up because in the moment it felt important, but a really good mental check that you could do that you want to ask yourself before you go into like having a conversation like this is double checking, like, am I wanting to have this conversation to deepen my relationship with them so that they could understand me better, so that I could connect with them, like so that I can connect with them? Or is there a different reason, like the true reason why you want to bring this up with them? The true reason, the underlying reason why you want to talk to them about this thing should be to deeper your relationship, so that they can understand you, so that you could connect with them more, so that they could really see who you really are, how you really feel. Like, if that is the true intention of that, like you could honestly say that, then you're in a good position to proceed and have this conversation. If it's anything other than that, if it's not to connect, if you have a reason to want to bring something up because you maybe have like a concern, or like you are feeling uncomfortable about something, and so you're wanting to influence them or change them in a certain way, you might want to reconsider. Like you really need to see how you could deepen your relationship and connect to them better. Otherwise, if you can't see how this is going to help them understand you better, if you're making it about them and how you want them to change, that is not about connection. And you might be better off not bringing it up, or that's for like a conversation like that is that's for a different talk. But yeah, so being clear going into having the reason why you want to have like a hard conversation in order to connect is for you to tell the other person how you feel, for you to tell the other person why you did something, and to explain something. Like the success of these conversations is when you keep yourself focused on talking about yourself. You are just presenting stuff about like criticisms about the other person, concerns about the other person. Those conversations are difficult, and they don't land quite as well because they just come off as critical, and you want the other person to change. And when you are in a truly healthy, like a relationship that feels really safe, one that's rooted in love and unconditional love and friendship, we try not to manipulate or change the other person. There's ways to have those conversations, but yeah, this is to deepen your connection. You want to talk about yourself. Okay, and the next thing is, for best results, you're going to want to mentally prepare yourself for how the conversation may go. So, in telling your truth to someone, like, you are presenting them, like, your heart, like how you feel, your honesty, your integrity, and you need to be prepared for however they receive it. You need to accept and be understanding and receptive and hold space for whatever response that they have, because people are allowed to feel however they feel. They're allowed to have their own, thoughts, opinions, concerns, preferences about things. And our job is just, to be honest, is just to tell them, to reveal to them what's going on with us, to help them understand us better. And whatever happens after that is out of your hands. You need to be okay with however they feel. And that could be really scary, going into a conversation knowing that you're going to present news that's going to be hard for them to handle, hard for the other person to handle, hard for them to hear, hard for them to swallow or accept. It might be really upsetting, but it's the way that we present the information. Like, if we are calm and grounded, and we set our intentions clearly from the beginning, telling them why we're sharing this with them, because ultimately talking to them about intimate information about ourselves isn't ever necessary. We don't owe anybody like that type of information. We're choosing to share this part of ourselves with them because we want to improve our relationship with them. And that is really key, like that intention of, like that sincere, genuine intention of wanting them to just have a better relationship with them, to improve the quality of your relationship with them, so that you could come closer, so that you could know each other better, so that they could see and know you better. Like, that intention is pure. There's no hostility behind that. Even if the news might be not good news, like, that intention is really pure. So being prepared for however they respond, but at the same time, generally, when you approach a conversation with an open heart, you've already done the work to really own your truth and to know that you're already whole. You don't need their approval. You're not asking them to tell you if you're okay or not. You're not asking them to approve of you or not. You're not needing them to receive you a certain way. You're not needing them to even understand you a certain way. You're just there to give them this gift of your truth, of your honesty. And when you just accept them, you just hold space for however it is that they feel, whatever it is that they have to say, and however they respond to it. When you are knowing, like, grounded in your truth, and that you don't need them to give you a certain response to make you feel whole and validated and understood. When you could do that for yourself, you've already done the work to give yourself that gift first and foremost. Then you could give them this gift of your presence, like your presence, the presence of you being present with however they feel when they respond, when they are receiving your truth, this present of your honesty. Yeah. So being mentally prepared for however they respond, but also knowing that you're already good, like they can respond however they respond. You're also going to want to anticipate, the more preparation you go in, you do going into a hard conversation, the better the better the results will be, because you've already done a lot of mental rehearsal on how the conversation can go, what their concerns are. So you want to consider, okay, what will their concerns be? What will their questions be? And what is the underlying concerns are? Like, if this is a person that you really want to connect with, they should be a person that you know to some degree, to have some type of understanding about. So you really want to see underneath, like, the underlying intention of, like, where their true concerns will be if you're telling them something that might be difficult for them to receive. And just mentally preparing yourself some type of response and being able to deliver those answers in a calm way is going to go a really long way. Like, knowing how you want to go into the conversation, knowing how you want to feel going into the conversation, like knowing what boundaries you want to have in having this conversation. Like, so for example, in that conversation that I had with my mom, I knew, like, my biggest concerns were, I was just afraid that she would be sad and upset. Sad that I'm just no longer married, and upset that I had to hide this part of my life and essentially lie to her for months now. So I knew that it made me feel really uncomfortable, like needing to present her news that might make her feel really upset. So I had to be prepared for that. Like, if she were going to feel that way, I still need to be, how do I want to feel? If and when she expresses those emotions, how do I want to feel? And I knew that I just wanted to feel calm and grounded so that I could hold space for however she feels, because she's allowed to feel those things. Like, it's not that I'm having this conversation and I need to find a way so that she doesn't feel those things, because this is news that is genuinely upsetting. So my job is not to manage her feelings. My job is to be honest, tell her the truth, tell her what's going on with me, so that we could connect. And I knew I wanted to be calm. Like, I just don't want to like immediately have to jump in and try to like rescue her from her feelings, or get frustrated with her because she didn't immediately, like, maybe she might not immediately be understanding, or might not immediately be like, she might just be upset at me. So yeah, I knew that I wanted myself to be calm. And my boundaries, I knew that I wanted to just be able to share without her interrupting me. Like, so the success of the conversation really came from me being able to manage and to create a safe space. One where we're not like constantly fighting each other, where we're just like going back and forth and I'm actually not getting across. Like, the success of a really good, like, constructive conversation, you really have to structure it in a way that you know what, like, the point of this conversation is. What do you want to bring up? Why you want to bring it up? And how are you going to deliver this conversation, deliver these points, so that she gets to see and understand what you really mean without it getting out of hand. So my boundaries that I clearly stated at the very beginning of the talk was that I just want her to listen. I just asked her that she listen. I requested to her that she just listen to everything that I have to say, and then at the end I will gladly answer any questions that she has. So the way that I actually set up the talk was, I think, the biggest part of what made it really successful. And so what I did was I opened up the talk by first saying, just like being completely sincere and open-hearted and super vulnerable, by saying that this conversation, like telling you this, is really hard for me. Like, and I was also speaking her native language, something that I never really do. So speaking the same language as like the best language that the person that you're talking to knows also, like, goes really, really far. And sometimes that's not possible, but if you can speak the language that they best understand, that just shows them how much effort and care that you are putting into this communication with them. So if you can speak their language, that means the world. Like, makes such a difference, means the world. So yeah, I told her that it was really hard. This is a really hard conversation for me to have with her. And I did start crying at that point, but I continued, and I told her that the only reason why I didn't tell her sooner was because, so this is why it's like super important for you to understand yourself, like to truly see and know like your true intentions, like why you did what you did, so that there's context behind what you're revealing to them like the truth of what is the thing that you're trying to tell them. Giving context is really really important and really helpful for them to see the bigger picture. Why? Like, why is this important? And like, why did you do this thing? Or like, where is this coming from? Like, giving context is super helpful. So I told her the only reason why I haven't told her this earlier is because I just didn't want her and my dad to be sad and to be mad. And I also did apologize at that point also. I told her really sincerely that I'm so sorry that I didn't tell her sooner, because I knew that I should have. And saying all of that at the beginning of the conversation really set the stage for, this is something that that's me bearing my soul. Oh, it was me bearing my heart out. Like, this is really hard, and I just didn't want you to feel, didn't feel bad, didn't want you to feel sad or bad or worry about me. But I know that I should have told you sooner. That's why I was scared to tell you, because I didn't want you to be mad at me. Like, that is the whole context, and that's a lot. It's a lot. Like giving that context helps the other person really understand where you're coming from. So setting the stage like that is huge, helps so much. And so that's why it's really important, those first steps of like really doing a lot of work, like mental inventory, the inner work of understanding yourself goes such a long way in having like really successful hard conversations. So you really know what you're trying to express and where it is coming from, and helping the other person really see like your whole heart, like the whole picture. And then the boundary that I set, because I did start talking and then she did start talking, so the boundary that I set was, I'm asking you, I'm requesting that you just listen to everything that I have to say. I just want to share like what's going on with me, and then at the end I'll be happy to answer any questions. So that's truly setting the stage, like having that. And notice that that boundary is like asking them like what actually those are just like conditions of the conversation. A boundary is actually talking about what you will do when they do something. But in the context of just having like a serious talk with somebody, you could have these like set rules for having like conducive, healthy talks. They're just actually rules. A real boundary is regarding yourself, what you will do when the other person does something. I didn't say it like that. I just asked her, just please listen. I just request that you listen and let me finish, and then we could go over your questions at the end. And just being really sincere, and being just, if they're a mature adult, they should be okay with that. Like, especially after you've already like opened up with so much vulnerability, letting them know that this is obviously something that you have a lot to share, and like letting them know that they do get to speak at the end, that you will like give them time to share their concerns, and you will address whatever they have at the end, so that things don't get derailed. There should be no problem. Like, and the key to all of this is you being calm. When we have conversations and we're dealing with other people, it only requires one person to be calm, to help the other person regulate to you. But if no one is calm, then the whole situation will quickly get out of hand. So going into the conversation with the intention that, okay, I'm going to be responsible for how I feel, and then knowing how to, having tools and resources at your disposal, knowing how to get yourself grounded back into your body when you start feeling activated, and using those tools is super important. It's like makes all the difference. And I'm going to give you just one obvious, really quick, easy one that everyone should be doing anyway, is just taking a really deep, slow breath. To whenever you notice yourself, so you want to take deep, slow breaths. When you start noticing yourself, start to feel stressed, start to feel activated, start to feel like, okay, this is a lot, like this is becoming more uncomfortable, like my body is feeling a little bit stressed right now. You're noticing yourself feeling more activated. You're talking a little bit faster, you feel your heart beat a little bit faster, there's some tension going on, they're saying stuff that's maybe a little bit inflammatory. All you need to do is just catch yourself having this experience of like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit triggered, I'm feeling a little bit stressed by the situation right now. I'm no longer calm. I'm physiologically feeling different, no longer calm. All you need to do is just catch yourself. Become a person that notices these things. Just catch yourself. Without, like, before you respond, before you react, before you say something immediately in that, like, knee-jerk reaction, just notice, okay, I'm feeling stressed. I need to take a breath, like breather right now. Just give yourself that moment to just take a deep breath. Exhale. You don't have to respond to every single thing immediately. Just this one practice of knowing you don't need to respond to everything immediately. Not everything even merits a response. You could take your time to formulate what you want to say, because you are a person that consciously, intentionally responds to things consciously, intentionally. You are no longer a person who allows your emotional reactions to get the better of you. You're no longer a person who responds emotionally. Like, take your time to respond to things. Take a deep breath. That's all you need to do. Get yourself back into your body. Instead of up here, instead of in your activated state, in that state of I'm feeling upset or frustrated or hurt or mad. Like, you could feel all those things, but not act on that emotion. This technique of catching yourself and getting yourself back into your body is to help you see those feelings more clearly. This stuff is not to eliminate those feelings. Those feelings are your truth. Those feelings are important to that moment. It's telling you this is just making you feel that way. But when you take a breath, you get back into like control of yourself, so that you could see how you're feeling, you could observe how you're feeling, understand, okay, there is an emotion happening here. And then once you have observed that emotion, you can then consciously, intentionally respond the way that you actually want to respond. Use the words that you actually want to say. Treat the other person the way that you actually want to treat them. And you could still be upset. And you could even still be firm or, you know, as stern or even as mean as you want to, but it becomes then an intentional choice, not just an emotional reaction. Because usually those emotional reactions are not how we actually want to respond. They're actually they're generally very harmful and dysfunctional. They're explosive. They're not nice. Without us even being able to choose, like, did I actually want to not be nice in that moment? It just came out that way because when we are triggered, when we are in our fight or flight or fawn response, like in that activated state, those emotions take over our bodies. Those emotions are taking over our minds. That's not what we would have done if we were calm, if we were like grounded in our bodies most of the time. So yes, breathing to get yourself calm and in your body, expressing yourself the way that you want to be expressed, managing the conversation, and being as sincere and focusing the conversation on sharing yourself with this other person. You really want to make sure that you're focused on sharing yourself, how you feel, why you did something, not talking about the other person and what you want the other person to think or feel, or just like telling them how they did something and how they are. Like those conversations, like going about talking to someone and just talking at them and lecturing them about how they were a certain thing or what they did, those conversations don't land as well. That's why you want to talk about yourself, so that the other person can understand you and how you feel and what you like, understand you, maybe even what you want. But you don't want to manipulate them or change them. If you want to change them, that's generally not a very loving thing to do. Okay, so yeah, so your job throughout this conversation is to just be honest, share your heart with them, and you are not trying to convince them of anything. You are not trying to get them to even understand you. You're not trying to get their approval from anything. Like, you've already done the work of understanding yourself, validating yourself, owning your truth. You've already done that. So this conversation should not be about having them give you this feeling of validation and acceptance and even understanding. Because the truth is, we can't control how another person's experience is. We don't know if they will ever truly understand us. Because how could a person ever truly understand the whole grand, complex experience of what it's like to be us? We are extremely complex. And it's okay that maybe the person that we're talking to doesn't fully understand us. We need to be like wise enough to understand that it's not other people's responsibility to understand us, to accept us, to validate us. That's our work to do. And We could hope that they do. The whole point of having the conversation is that we do deepen our connection and that they do understand us better. But going into it, needing them to give us this feeling, needing them to do this thing of understanding us is not the way. We give that to ourselves. We present to them the information. They have their own experience. And that's the best way to go about it. And when you go about it like that, you're just an open container. You created a safe space for them, for you to show them your whole heart, show them your whole self, and you're letting them into your world. Crazy thing is, like, they may or may not understand you, but generally when you lead with an open heart, you lead with love, you will most likely be met with love and warmth also. That's generally how that works. It's the mirroring. When you are like self-sufficient and you have done the work to love yourself, to know yourself, you show other people how to treat you, how to see you, how to perceive you also. They may or may not do it, but oftentimes if you've done the work, they are seeing you model it. You're standing firm in yourself. Like, people who truly want to walk the path with you, who want to stay in your life with you, they will see you the way that you want to be seen when you do the work of seeing yourself first. And that is the lifelong work. Yeah. Okay, I think that is actually the whole process. It was kind of very long, drawn out. Sorry if it was just all over the place, but I hope that was helpful. I know it was like a million steps. Yeah. Knowing yourself, having hard conversations, opening up to people. That's really the only way we can have genuine, like, deep connections, like authentic relationships with people. It starts with our relationship with ourselves. It starts with us knowing ourselves. Like, everything starts with those first few steps of knowing and owning your truth. And that's gonna always be the hardest part. So even before you get to the steps of like wanting to share something deep with yourself to another person, to have a better relationship with the other person, like, this is the whole reason why the whole purpose of this group is healing and becoming your own best / perfect person. Like, when you become your own best person, your own perfect person, best version of yourself, like, everything else follows. Everything else falls in line. It starts with that, though. You can't hope to have, like, amazing, great, like, beautiful relationships. Like, you can't hope to find that perfect partner, that perfect partner, again, like, there's no concept of a perfect partner, but you can't hope to have, like, really deep, authentic, like, soul-nourishing relationships that just feel like home, if you haven't done the work to feel at home in yourself. So it's always the first step. Knowing yourself. Owning your truth. Okay. I hope that was helpful. I will see you guys next time. Let me know if you have any questions or what you guys want me to talk about next. And thanks if you've watched this whole thing. Alright, see you next time.